Welcome to the Wizards of Amazon podcast, where we cover all things private label. My name is Carlos Alvarez, and I will be the host for the show. On today's episode, we have one of the people that I wanted to be one of the first guests on the show. Here we are pushing 50 episodes, and I'm finally getting him on. Jeff Lieber from Turnkey Product Management. Jeff, what's up?
What's up, Carlos? Thank you for having me on, man. It's an honor to be on the show, and I've been listening to a lot of episodes, and you are quite a great interviewer and digging deep into pulling nuggets from people.
Man, I really appreciate that coming from you. You're a veteran podcaster and amazing wealth of knowledge in this space. I was a guest on your podcast, and I loved it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I learned a lot, and yeah, that was a fun episode. And I ended up listening to the book Virtual Freedom, and that was a great book. And started hiring some VAs, so I learned a lot from you.
Awesome, man. I love hearing that. Jeff, we talked a little bit before this on different topics, and that because there's a ton of information that I just loved. I wish I could just download some stuff from you, because like you have your finger on the pulse of everything what's going on. One of the things that I learned accidentally, and I just cannot not talk about on the show, is you recently worked with one of the sharks from the Shark Tank, and helped this shark. I don't even know, he or she. You helped this shark manage their portfolio and grow to 8 figures. Can you unpack that? I mean, just how do you? I mean, it's insane. This is like a dream come true. Well, tell me about it.
Yeah, it's not exactly what you just said. It's not quite as cool as that, but yeah, we reached out and started a relationship with one of the sharks from Shark Tank, and yeah, we basically just offered help in any way possible. And so we, after a number of calls, they wanted us to do an entire series of trainings live with their whole portfolio of companies. So we just did a whole training series on how to scale on Amazon to 8 figures and beyond. And yeah, and then now we're working with a few of their companies as well after that training as well. And yeah, we've gotten to do some cool stuff with them. So it was really cool to kind of get a behind the scenes look at, as far as like how do the logistics of, like, because I've seen a lot of the companies that were on the calls, like on Shark Tank and on TV, and then but it's cool to like meet them and talk and just realize like they are just completely normal people, and they are completely normal businesses, just like all the other companies that we talk to at Turnkey. They have the same problems, they have the same challenges. The only difference is they just happen to have a big name shark in their corner and some funding, but other than that, it's really not a whole lot different. They have the same problems that most other people have on Amazon.
The way you said it was actually cooler. I was saying, like, you didn't even have contact with these brands, and you were just providing something to a shark, but you actually created and delivered an entire training to a whole bunch of baby sharks, if you will, like these business owners.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume here that everyone that you provided this training to, they didn't just attend the Shark Tank. These were people that this particular shark wanted to successfully back,
Mm-hmm.
and is actively working with. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're actually invested in by this shark. Yep.
So something that I discovered, I recently did a podcast with the owner from Odang Hummus. I had a blast, and I love hummus, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely amazing. And this person also with, I'm assuming a totally different shark. I assumed when I saw the post about how they were on the Shark Tank that they were automatically on Amazon. And apparently this particular shark didn't even like Amazon. So I guess it's not a default that a shark would want to take something straight to Amazon if they wanted to back them. But in this case, you're obviously working with someone that saw the potential in Amazon to do this. So how do you go about, and if you don't mind sharing some of the training, like how do you go about that? Like you just have, I would get a little stressed knowing I'm about to talk to a few 1 or 2 8-figure brands or brands that wanted to get to 8 figures. How do you go about designing something like that? Can you share about that?
Yeah, so we kind of worked with the Sharks team. They've got like a team of advisors that basically oversees the whole portfolio of both Shark Tank brands and non-Shark Tank because they get a lot of deal flow even off Shark Tank obviously as well. So yeah, it was just like a lot of back and forth, a number of calls being like, what would add the most value, just asking questions. And then we sent out like a questionnaire to the portfolio just to get some, what are your biggest challenges? And so that really helped us kind of come up with an outline. And we kind of workshopped the outline first and then eventually arrived at, what do we think would be most helpful for them so that we could just, be very efficient with all of our time and put together a training that if they go do some of the work that we talked about, I'm sure that their businesses would grow quite a bit.
What were some of the pain points that?
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, they really weren't that different from the average client that comes to us that doesn't have a shark in their corner. But there were maybe I don't know the percent, maybe 20-25% of the companies weren't on Amazon at all. They had been focused on retail and on maybe Shopify and licensing, those different types of sales channels. So that's number one. So we did have to. The first kind of thing that we covered was let's show you the numbers on Amazon, what's possible out there to convince them. If you're not on Amazon, you probably should be. And we did this post COVID with them, and so that's I think a lot of the reason why it was really helpful because a lot of them, their retail stores had closed or some of them are facing bankruptcy now, and so they're pivoting and adapting very quickly and realizing we need to get Shopify going, we need to get Amazon going. So a lot of companies are like quickly adapting just because of COVID, because their sales started deteriorating on non-Amazon channels, and so Amazon's obviously way up in sales as we've seen. More people are shopping there than ever with COVID. So we just sort of talked about that with them about how consumer behavior is going to forever be changed, or at least for the next couple of years for sure. All those Prime members are going to stay Prime members for the most part, and Amazon's going to be a good place to be for a long time to come. So that was the first thing that we covered.
And what were the main reasons why the people that were not on Amazon were not there?
Yeah, the main ones were just that like they were making enough money on the other channels. I think they were just focused on that, whether it was retail or wholesale or whatever their distribution channel was. But once those sales numbers changed, they wanted to refocus on Amazon or do a launch, or they just threw up their Amazon listings. A lot of them had just thrown up the Amazon listings, but they weren't optimized and they weren't getting good sales. Maybe a few $1,000 a month, something like that. And they just simply hadn't put the time and effort into it, or to realize what you need to do to be successful. So I would say a decent amount weren't on Amazon, and then a lot of them had just kind of thrown them up, but it wasn't a main focus, and they didn't realize how much they needed to do to like get that to the next level.
All right. Well, and how did you compare numbers? You just looked at their closest competitor on Amazon and said, look, this is what your competitor's doing right now on Amazon post COVID.
Yeah, we actually pulled up some of their listings like live on the call and just showed them theirs, and then used like Jungle Scout data and then just sort of showed the comparison of numbers, being like, look at this this person in the resistance band space. There was a company, I forget the name of it, but it was a no-name brand doing over $600,000 a month of just resistance bands. Right? There's no patent, there's no IP, there's no
Yeah.
shark behind them, and they're crushing it on Amazon. Like some of those sales are bigger than their total sales from these companies. And so I think once they saw those numbers, a lot of their ears perked up and realized, like, hey, maybe we should really make this a focus for the next, for the rest of 2020.
And this was the first phase. So this was the first part of the training that you put
Mhm.
together. What was the next? And how many phases was there?
We basically covered five
Okay.
topics was the crux of it. So the second piece was, and again, this applies not just to the Shark Tank companies, but to a lot of companies that we talk with, where they maybe have one great product or maybe two, but they haven't built like a brand of products to serve that same customer. And especially on the Shark Tank, right? Like they might have a patented awesome product, but they haven't developed other complementary SKUs that could really help boost their sales, right? That will help increase their lifetime value of the customer. You can cross sell. A lot of their products were just one-time purchase type products. So how do you make more money off of this, customer if they already have your product? You got to sell them different products. So, we showed them just some product research tools and methods to help quickly identify how to expand. And again, that applies to almost all brands that we talk to. There's always additional products that you can get into to increase that lifetime value. Because once you can get your, if you're a one product company selling $20 for an item, and then you're competing against a company that's got 20 products in that same space, and their average lifetime value is $200, that company is going to crush you in the long run. They're going to outspend you on advertising. They're going to have more capital to put towards awesome marketing methods and ad methods. So so just kind of explaining that and showing them like there's so much great data on Amazon that will tell you here's what you should sell next, right? They're like, wow, you can, like, that product is selling $178,000 a month on Amazon. Like, that would fit perfect for my customer. So that was, I think helpful for some of those folks.
Wow, yeah, that's 100% true. What I think Ryan Dice first said it. I wonder if you agree. He who could spend the most in ads wins. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. I've heard him say that too, and Perry Belcher as well. One of Ryan's right hand people, and yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And a lot of Amazon sellers that are newer to the game, don't quite leverage that, but I think that really works in all business, really.
Well, it's hard to do that if your strategy, and not yours, but whoever is doing this, is a race to the bottom.
Yes.
It doesn't leave you very much to spend on ads.
Yes. Yep. No, I don't recommend being the lowest priced product on Amazon as a general strategy, because eventually,
Yeah.
eventually you'll lose in a couple different ways. You'll either go out of
Yeah.
business because you lost money, or someone's going to beat you. From China, they'll eventually come out with a cheaper product, to directly compete with you. Or
Or
Amazon
for
might.
years, you get to talk about how you're making no money, but you're the top of page one.
Right. Yeah, the glory days.
Yeah. Take me through phase three. So at this point, people have, learned Amazon. They're able to identify um, what their competitors are doing, and they've also learned the benefits of having multiple SKUs or complementary SKUs in their brand to be able to cross sell and make more money over the long term.
Yep. Yeah, so the next step we covered was now you need to boost your conversion and optimize your product listings and all the real estate that's provided to you on Amazon. How do you optimize that to get the most, boost your conversion rate, which is obviously a big factor in the Amazon A9 algorithm, so that you can be ranking on page one eventually. So we just went through all of the whole checklist that we use with our clients of you need to have these.
Well, everybody listening right now's ears perked up in phase three, like optimizing your listing. What are some of the things that you feel that are working right now in optimizing your listing, like the best?
Yeah, so right now, number one, we always still start with the fundamentals. No matter whoever comes to us, the first thing that we look at is their listings, and make sure that they've got the fundamentals. So great images, great infographics, where you got text overlaid, conveying the benefits, conveying what problem are you solving. Great bullet points, explaining the benefits, and so you got to have those basic things in place. Product video is becoming a lot more important on Amazon, a lot more prevalent. Not everyone's using it, so it's still a big opportunity to separate yourself from the competition. So we talked about video quite a bit because there's multiple places you can put video on your product listing. You can put it up in the image stack. You can put it in the related videos or content or whatever that's called. So there's a number of places you can put video. And a lot of these people had great videos, right? Like you can put a 5-second clip of them on Shark Tank, like hugging their shark, and that just conveys so much authority. But for those listening that aren't in that boat, you don't need that to be successful. But video is one of the top ways to quickly boost your conversion rate, just because, as you guys know, video can just convey so much more emotion and convey, can just like really sell your product and the story and what problem that you're solving, and you can narrate. There's just so much more powerful things you can do with video. And then just a quick tidbit, like you guys have probably started to see that like Amazon video ads are now a thing. They're becoming much more popular, and again, there's not much competition in the Amazon video ad space right now because it's still so new. Not many people are doing it. So if you haven't invested in video yet, I would say like it's better late than or better now than never, right? So do it now, because one, you can put it on your organic listing, but two, you can use that video for Amazon ads. You can use it for splicing it up to put on your social media. You can put it on your website, on your Shopify site, email it out to your list. It's good content. There's just so many reasons. So investing even a few $100, if you can afford it, put a couple $1,000 if possible into making a really great video. That can really make you successful. One other just quick tidbit on video: if you have a number of products, some people will comment when I say that, they'll be like, well, I've got 30 different SKUs, like I don't want to make 30 custom video shoots, right? That's going to be like $100,000. So one thing that we will recommend that Amazon's still allowing is you can do basically one video that kind of at some point shows the whole, it's a brand video, and you can kind of showcase all your products at some point in the video. So even though it's not necessarily focused on that one product, you can make one really strong video, and then that can apply to all 30 of your products, right? And then you can just simply pay a video editor really cheap to do that, and they can maybe just make 30 different revisions of that video to put at the very front and the very end of the video, the product that is going to be, that's going to be on the product page. So it's like product shot of the actual product that you're selling on that page, great brand video, and then maybe another shot of that product at the very end. Do that 30 times, and now you've got 30 videos, and it maybe costs you $200 to make the extra 30 revisions. So that's something that we've seen be successful.
I agree 100% on the importance of video in all the different places that video can be on Amazon right now. But I used to have access to video on Vendor Central, and I was when video started rolling, and it was extremely powerful. But when video started rolling out, and here I'm talking about video in the thumbnail towards the top, upper third of the product detail page. When it started rolling out to everyone else on Seller Central, my concern was like, this easy way to, this exclusive domain I had for this video is going to go away, and it's not going to have as much impact. On the contrary, though, video seems to be getting stronger, even though more people are using it. I am shocked as to how large of a percentage of people are not using it, even with brand registry. Are you noticing the same thing there? Like most people are not using video.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the companies that come to us, we see they don't have video on the page. That's one of the first questions we ask. We'd be like, hey, did you know you can put video on there? And I'm like, first we ask, do you have any videos? Because sometimes clients don't. And they say, yeah, we have some videos that we made for our website or whatever. And I'm like, well, why isn't it on Amazon? I see you have A+ content, you have Amazon brand registry, did you know you could put it on Amazon? They just didn't know that they can put it on there, or maybe they did. They're like, oh, it's on my to-do list. It's like, just throw up the video.
Yeah. What about you mentioned also that you could pay a few hundred, or you could pay, I think, a few thousand is what you said in video. What's the real difference there, in your opinion?
Yeah, it just comes down to, I think, the quality. So it really depends, just whatever is in your budget. I mean, I've said before, like any video is better than no video. So if cost is or time is a number that scares you, then just go with a couple hundred. So like you can, you can even make a video for free. You can just take a slideshow of your actual photos, and then there's free video editing softwares that can, like, you just dump the photos in, it makes a slideshow. You can even add text overlaid to it and edit it and narrate over it. You can even do it in PowerPoint and turn that into a video file. Like, there's free video softwares out there. Now, it's not going to be something that you'd put on TV or pay for an ad on TV. So that's where, like, the quality is not super great, but hey, you probably have great photos, so it actually will be a halfway decent video. So that's like at the cheap end. Have you ever used any of those video softwares? I can't think of the one that we've used or recommended.
Like Animoto?
Yeah, Animoto is one of those. It's a free one, and pretty
Well, for
user
stuff like
friendly.
that, you really just go to Fiverr and it's, 10, $15 and they'll put
Yeah.
your stills together.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's probably even the better way to do it. If you've never done it before, just go pay the 15, $50, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Who do you use for video? Or do you guys do that in-house or do you have like a preferred agency or person you work with?
we don't have an agency, but we have a couple of graphic designers and editors that do photo and video editing at our company. So we use them on an as-needed basis for our clients. Um, but yeah, but to answer your question about what about the $1,000 videos out there or $1,000 plus? So I did a Kickstarter campaign like 3 or 4 years ago with a. I used to sell my own products and have my own brands before I started Turnkey and sold out of everything. But we did a Kickstarter campaign, and with Kickstarter, you really need a strong video if you're ever going to do
Right.
that. So we hired a videographer for a 1 day shoot. It was a dog toy. So we just, hired a videographer through Craigslist, I think it was, and, looked at their work, and picked a good one and then negotiated the price. It was maybe like $3,000 with full video shoot for like 6 hours. Plus, he did a product photo shoot for us as well because he already had the equipment out as well, and he offered to fully edit the video as well to give us a 3 minute video as well as like we wanted like a 30-second video.
Gotta send me that info,
So
man.
yeah, this guy was great. He's here in San Diego, so but he could possibly do it. But yeah, he was awesome. So we spent, I think just $3,500 on that video shoot, and it was a really really awesome quality video. And then that was the only video shoot we ever did at the company for 3 years. We sold over $1 million of that product solely. The main thing that drove that was that video, and then we ended up splicing it up into Facebook ads, into 30-second videos, 5-second videos. We used that video. We should have done more video shoots to get more fresh content, but that just shows like any video is better than no video. But just think about the ROI on that. Like I paid 3,500, and that helped lead to $1 million. You
That's
know,
unbelievable.
when you think of it that way, it's like 3,500 is a no brainer. We probably should have spent like 10 grand to get like 5 good videos. That probably would have been a lot smarter over the years. Because some people are like, oh man, $500 or $1,000, like
Right.
that's scary. Like, well, dude, you're doing 100 grand a month on Amazon in sales. Like it's an investment for the
Another
long
area I
term.
see that is, a 7, 8 figure seller, gets suspended and then goes nuts about $1,000 plus for a lawyer or something. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, you
Right.
clearly did this wrong, and now you're upset.
Yeah, it's like you're losing $10,000 a day.
Yeah. One
Yeah.
more thing on video, just because we could just have an entire session on just video. This was a good topic. Well, what's your thoughts on this? Do you think it's harder to have like a rock star video for your product on Amazon? Do you think it's more important or just as important to kind of storyboard and plan out what you want to do before you have the video done, or is it more the video quality and less what you're trying to communicate?
Um, yeah, I don't think you need to like overcomplicate it. Like keeping it simple is fine, honestly. For most purposes. But I mean, if you're doing, if you're doing over $1 million a year, like it's probably worth the effort. A really great video could probably really take you to that next level. But it kind of depends on where you're at. You don't need to do a storyboard and do a full physical video shoot. If you're just starting out or you're only doing a few $1,000s a month in sales, just keep it simple, and then you can always do a nicer, great video later. But I don't know.
All right.
I'm not a super video expert per se, but
Sure.
that's just kind of what I've seen.
Any other standouts in phase three?
Um, yeah, I mean, those are some of the main ones, and then A plus content, and you got to have reviews, and we talked about that. But yeah, other than that, it's just like doing everything to optimize your listing, and then measure the results, and because if you don't have the conversion piece down in the high converting listing, we could give you guys all the great strategies in the world, advertising strategies, influencer strategies, ranking strategies, all this cool stuff. But if you're only converting at 3% or 5%, you're gonna be dead in the water. Those strategies won't work, or you're gonna have a very low ceiling on your level of success. So you gotta have those fundamentals, and have a high converting, beautiful page before getting fancy. And you're just gonna be wasting money and time if you're ignoring those fundamentals. In my opinion, would you
Yeah, it
agree
was
with that?
somebody. No, 100%. There was somebody I think coined the term regarding PPC and an Amazon listing, but it just applies anywhere. And that is your listing needs to be PPC ready.
Mm.
You can bring in a PPC god, and maybe you disagree with me here. If your listing sucks, and it has no reviews, and it's just like, and it's neglected, you need a magician at that point. You don't need. That's what you need. You need a magician.
Yep.
You agree with that?
Oh, completely. Yeah. Because we get people coming to us being like, can you just manage our ads? And we'll look at their listing. And so we'll
Like,
have
no
to,
way.
like, nope, we're about a month away from that. Like, here's what, we'd need to change first. Let's get that dialed in. Because we don't want to
What,
waste their money or get bad results and unhappy clients. I'm sure
in
you're
my
the same
agency,
way.
I made a mistake in not doing that. And it's like, oh, a
Mm.
client in the very beginning, oh my God, a client. Let's take the ads. Yeah, we'll run the ads. We're really good at ads. And
Yeah.
then 2 months in, we're having a meeting and they're like, my sales have not increased. You guys are not doing what you promised and you're just getting hammered. And I can't
Yeah.
understand that. I'm like, we're doing everything. And we just didn't in this very early stages, early
Yeah.
days. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that if your listing is not right, nothing else is going to work.
Yeah. No, no truer words have been
So,
spoken on
so that's
Amazon.
phase three.
Hmm.
Talk to me about the phase four.
Yeah, so then phase four, we went into basically the bullseye traffic system, just talking about traffic. Because now that you've got an optimized listing, where's the traffic going to come from? You need eyeballs, and you need that. So we talked about that. Have you ever read the book
What did you call it? The
Traction?
bullseye? Bullseye what?
The bullseye traffic system is what we call it. Because I actually got it from the book Traction. Have you ever read that book?
Oh, I did. Yeah, good book.
Yeah. Yeah, so you remember the bullseye traffic
Yes.
system? They had like the outer ring, middle.
Ah,
Um,
yes.
yeah, so we kind of tailored that model to Amazon. And so at the end of the day, I wish I had a bullseye to show you guys, but just imagine a dartboard bullseye, right? So at the very outside ring, the outside area, just imagine there's like there could be 20 or 50 potential traffic sources. So if you're gonna do this exercise, just like make a list right now, just brainstorm. Don't try to be perfect or right. Don't worry if it would work. Just make a list of at least 10 or 20 or 30 potential traffic sources, right? So one's Amazon ads, right? Amazon DSP ads, but think about off Amazon stuff as well. So you got influencers, social media, your email list, Facebook ads, Pinterest,
So the things that
Reddit.
90% of sellers ignore.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So we could talk about we could come up with over 50. So at Turnkey we've got like over 30 or 40 that like we have on our outer ring bullseye. So once you got that list, now you can prioritize from that list and say, okay, what should we move to the middle ring? The goal is to try to choose maybe 3 to 5 traffic sources that you want to test, and just run a small test. So I'll tell you, like, if you're not doing Amazon ads, you should definitely do Amazon PPC ads as one of the things that you should test, right? No,
Sure.
none of our clients don't run Amazon ads, and so pick 3 to 5 that you want to move into that middle ring. And then the goal is to run a small test. So in Traction, they advise do less than, it should take less than 30 days to get enough results. So, and sometimes it can be free. So if you have an untapped email list, or if you've got an influencer that maybe you've had a relationship with, but you haven't pinged them in a while, that can be free or very, very cheap. So just do a test there and try to spend less than $1,000 if it is a paid source. So if it's Amazon ads, it's your first time, make sure to spend less than $1,000. If you're doing Facebook ads, make sure to spend less than $1,000, just because you want a conservative test to see the results. Test 3 to 5. Once you do that, hopefully by the end of the month, then it's time. Let's recap and review how did we do on all of those channels, and you track the sales. Once you track those, hopefully you'll have 1 or 2 clear winners, like they were profitable, they worked, you saw strong signals. So then you move those couple winners, you move those into the center of the bullseye, and now you want to stay focused on those, and now it's time to start figuring out how can we scale that, right? So what if it's Amazon ads, how can we scale that? Let's spend 2,000 or 3,000 next month. What can we do? Maybe now I feel confident. Maybe we should hire someone to do those ads because I know it's successful, or maybe not yet. Or maybe if one influencer worked well and boom, you got 20 sales from it. Why don't we go get 10 influencers? We've got one client that has over 500 influencers that they work with. It's their number one traffic source.
I bet.
It's incredible. Yeah. Yeah, and they've got great social media followings, and these influencers are just on the regular, just posting and posting. So yeah, so that, once you get to that bullseye, then stay focused on that. And then the beautiful thing is now it's also time. Let's go back, maybe pick one or two from the outer ring, and let's test those other strategies that we didn't have time to do. But now I can do one more test. Now I want to test, Instagram ads or whatever you wanted to test, or Google ads. So move that, and so you're always testing and always pushing. And the goal is that hopefully at the end of the day, maybe a few months from now or at the end of the year, you'll have 3 or 4 or 5 traction channels that drive traffic and sales to your Amazon listing. You can also apply this to your Shopify store or wherever you want as well, but Amazon's the best place to do that. So keep doing that and keep driving traffic to Amazon until Amazon starts ranking you on page 1 of the search results, where now you're getting free organic sales from Amazon. So that's the holy grail when you can get there. So I know it's a lot of info and it's hard without a visual, but hopefully I explained that okay.
What just to be clear though, when like let's say some of the traffic or some of the channels that you're bringing from the outer rim of this bullseye, let's say they're your YouTube channel, or so we're going to talk about YouTube ads on your channel. We have email marketing, so your email list, and let's just say social media or your messenger subscriber list, I don't know, or social media, and
Mhm.
you're going to run a test on each of $1,000. Just for the sake of this example, it's not 1,000 a day, it's not 1,000 a week. You just spend $1,000 on this. See how it performs to start moving these towards that center of the bullseye. Um, During this time, though, you're still feeding these channels in the sense of whatever lead magnets you have out there that are working to bring people into your email list. You're still feeding. It's not like you have this static list on any of these channels, and you're fatiguing them, if you will, with repeated ads and requests. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, no, you don't stop doing what you're doing or what's been working. This is more of like to take it to the next level. Exactly.
Sure. All right, so that's phase 4, or did we roll phase 5 into that, or is phase 5 separate?
So yeah, so that was phase 4. So I mean, but to help simplify, it's like I would recommend at the end of the day, if you can at least run Amazon ads, Amazon PPC ads, and at least one external traffic source, like at a minimum, just test one external traffic source. Like keep it simple. It depends on your bandwidth. That's the best place to start. Once you've gotten to the level where you've seen success with Amazon PPC ads and that's converting and it's profitable and you have a good ACOS, then I would consider adding on Amazon DSP ads, the demand side platform ads. That will help scale you to the next level. We've seen that just absolutely crazy results. Like
Yeah,
that
same
can
here.
work really, really quickly. Yeah, I mean, like the retargeting ads and the
Oh,
extent that you can control those. I mean, we're seeing like sometimes between 12 and 18% ACOS, and we had one client that the first month where we launched their Amazon DSP ads, they did $50,000 or $40,000 in ad sales from the DSP ads at a 17% ACOS. The second month, we scaled it to over $100,000 in sales directly just from DSP ads. So now this client's doing over $1 million a month in aggregate in total sales. So
are you finding some categories on DSP are doing better than others?
we are, yeah. I mean, the most common ones that we've tested and seen success is like supplements or whatever has repeat purchase. So consumables, skincare, healthcare, or not healthcare, skincare, some grocery type items. Anything where you can get repeat purchase, where you have, if you get a customer once, you can keep coming back to them and bringing them in for additional purchases. That's where we've been most successful thus far. How about you?
No, almost identical. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not, I wouldn't, if you're super beginner or you just started couple $1,000 of sales. DSP is not for you. It's more like if you want to get to the next level and trying to get to 6 figures a month or 7 figures a month and beyond. DSP ads is definitely something to look at.
And depending who this person's working with, their buy-in on that's what, like 10 to 50K.
Yeah, it depends on who they work with. Yeah, so I don't know exactly what other agencies do as their minimums. Like I know if you go directly to Amazon, they can manage it for you. I think it's a
Oh
thirty-five
no,
thousand dollar
no
ads,
way.
right? Yeah, it's a $35,000 test budget. So we found like at Turnkey, we just do like $1,000 ad budget for the first month is all that we've needed to test, and that because we can get enough signals of like whether it's going to be profitable or whether it's worth continuing. Most of the time, it's worth then scaling it past 1,000 a little bit, or sometimes a lot of bit. But sometimes it's not, and we can be like, nope, yeah, I'm not seeing strong signals, and we just say, well, I don't think we should continue with that. But yeah, normally $1,000 or so is enough to get enough data.
Okay. So talk to me about phase 5.
Yeah, so phase five, the last one was just don't do it alone. Basically, like you need to have a team of experts. You need to have the right people in place. Because again, for these folks, and it probably applies to a lot of people out there listening as well, I guess. But for these folks, they didn't have like a full Amazon team in house. Amazon really wasn't a major focus for them. So we just thought it'd be helpful to tell them the common people that you need. So like number one is a customer service person. Hopefully most people listening already have a good customer service person. You got to have that. If you don't have good customer service on Amazon, you're going to get bad reviews eventually. Just and you can hire a great customer service person so affordably, even part time, right? I mean, Carlos, you're like the king of hiring people and hiring great people. So how easy is it to find a great customer
It's one of
service
the
person?
easiest.
Yeah, so start there. And then one of the other experts was like a product listing, health monitoring person. So you can use softwares out there to monitor, buy box and issues and listings going down, and negative reviews. But you also need someone that will respond quickly to those and deal with those issues and create support tickets with Amazon's people and call them on the phone and wait on hold and deal with all their crap to get it resolved. So that's one of the other ones. Amazon PPC slash DSP expert if you're ready for DSP, because a lot of people were just managing it themselves. Like the owner of the company was doing it, like when they have time, like spending an hour a month, and it's a fast way to lose money if you're not paying attention to. So just make sure someone on your team is closely watching it, or hire a company that is good at managing the ads. And then an inventory and logistics and inventory planning expert. If you can't stay on top of staying in stock and mapping out your inventory orders and shipments and making sure it's all getting in stock on time, you can't sell what you don't have. So if you run out of stock, your sales go to zero on those products. So you need to have someone watching that. And then I think the last one was just like a growth strategy, Amazon strategy type expert. Like someone's got to be up to date. Like all the stuff we're talking about, it probably won't be working a year or two from now, right? There's going to be something new that we'll be talking about, on your next podcast a year from now. So you got to stay up to date. Someone needs to be on your team that's, willing to listen to podcasts or listen to, read the blogs or read the latest Amazon Seller Central updates. You can get a lot of good info there.
Listen to the
And testing.
webinars, attend the meetups, go to the conferences, like all that.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if you just follow Carlos and listen to his meetups and listen to his podcasts, you've got 99% of it covered right there. So, but someone needs to be doing that like every month. Like, what's new? Like, what are we? And then testing those things, not just like, oh, yeah, that's a nice idea. I learned that. But are you doing anything with it? Is the other thing, right? It comes down to execution. So those are the key ones. Are there any others that you would think would be a critical team member or role that I'm missing on the Amazon
No,
side?
I think you covered all the critical ones. I think what most people struggle with is then what happens is you have, and I believe correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe right here what I'm talking about is turnkey product management. Is the What happens then is if somebody wants to hire these 9 different critical areas, they now need to learn how to get these 9 critical areas to work together. Um, Otherwise, you need to hire a 10th one, which is someone who specializes in working with 9 different 9 different departments and get them to
Hmm.
play nice with each other. And I think this is something that turnkey product management has really excelled at. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what we do for our clients is take on either all of those roles or at least some of them. It depends. Some clients come to us and they've got some of these roles dialed in and they don't need all 5 of those. They just need advertising or one of the roles that is what they're missing. So yeah, but there's other great companies like yours out there. You have a great one too. So yeah, so it's just like talk with whoever you need to if you're there and vet them and make sure you trust the person and the people that you're working with and but yeah, there's different ways to do it. But you can also hire the team in house, and it's a longer, harder strategy to do to hire it all in house. But it's possible. But it's going to be harder to manage yourself, and it'll be more time, and it may not pan out. But it's just up to everyone with what they need for their particular business.
Awesome. Jeff, you mentioned that before you were able to present this training, it got vetted. It went through all kind of filters. Am I correct for you to be able to present this? So it went through shark filters, let's call it. And
Yeah.
how does somebody get a hold of that? Like, how could my listeners want to get a hold of some like basically shark approved uh, content, these 5 phases for, I'm going to say, regardless of where you're really at in your Amazon journey, because phase 1 touches on somebody that, is not involved with Amazon. So how can somebody get a hold of that?
Get a hold of like those training steps.
Or yeah, is it
Yeah,
possible?
yeah. So we condensed it down, and we did recently release it to the public, but we like condensed it into one training, so it's like about 45 or 50 minutes. So I covered what we talked about today, and then a number of other things. But yeah, we do have that's available. It's totally free, so we could put that on a web page if you want for your listeners.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll have my team will build a page at turnkeyproductmanagement.com/wizards. So if you go there, we'll make sure that training's there, and we can put some other free resources and goodies, and you can always reach out or contact us if you have any issues or challenges outside of that. But yeah, we'll put the training up there so you can listen to the full thing.
Yeah, and the free goodies too. That's always great for the listener.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
what
Yeah.
what what
Happy to
um
do that.
what thing a few things that maybe we didn't touch on that you feel like are really relevant. Like this episode's going to release in about 2 weeks,
Hmm.
and what are some things that you see that are really working right now, or that you have uh, cooking that are working really good on Amazon right now?
Yeah. Well, number one is when COVID hit in March or, and then through April, and Amazon freaked out. Some of the Amazon FBA warehouses got COVID, a lot of COVID cases in it. Warehouses were shutting down. I think we all remember that painful month where, FBA ship times changed from 1 day shipping for free to 30 days or 20 days, so I am worried that might happen again later in 2020 or even 2021. So for those of you that haven't done it yet, I would still recommend highly that you find a third-party logistics warehouse as to just diversify and hedge your bets. So if you're currently only shipping from your supplier straight to Amazon FBA and 100% of your inventory is there, I would definitely recommend that you try to find a third party warehouse and put at least some inventory there. You can even just be 10%, 20% of your inventory, just something. Because if that happens again later in the year, our clients that were set up with third party warehouses during that month, we just switched their FBM listings on and they won the buy box, and their warehouses were able to offer 2 day, 3 day shipping, and they were crushing the competitors who weren't ready for that. So it's just more of a precaution tip I wanted to mention, I guess, because Because yeah, some of our clients didn't have those warehouses set up, and their sales tanked because they had 30-day ship times. So we actually one of our clients, their warehouse actually shut down because of they got COVID as well. So actually we made a list. We called like 12 warehouses around the country and vetted them to try to find warehouses that had plans to stay open during COVID. And so we found I think 3 or 4 warehouses that like are deemed, what's the term, like when the government deems it like a necessary business to stay
An
open because
essential.
an essential business because they had PPE and shipped PPE. So we found, I think 3 or 4 warehouses that had multiple locations. They're diversified there, and they're an essential business. So if you need a third-party warehouse, we have a list there. I could actually make a note and I'll put it on that page as well, just to give you guys those warehouses. I don't know if you have any other warehouses that you like or use, Carlos.
I use Shipmonk. I've done
Okay.
I've done good with Shipmonk, but there's also, I mean, used my FBA prep, and there's a lot of other. It seems like nowadays, not. I agree with you 100% that that's a necessary thing moving forward. The game has changed,
Yeah.
and it seems like nowadays, though, you can throw a rock and hit a third-party prep center. They're just
Right.
not all created equal. So
Yeah.
having a list
Yeah.
that you vetted is very very valuable.
Yeah, and I think Shipmonk, one of our clients uses them, and I think they are good. And if you like them, then
Yeah.
yeah, add that to the list. But yeah, it's just about talking to them, like talk to a couple warehouses, and it's not only helpful only if that happens where Amazon's got slow ship times. Like it helps. It can save inventory storage costs. There's a lot of benefits. It can actually be cheaper to have a third party warehouse have some of the inventory.
That's the
It
case with
also
me. It's been cheaper. It's also allowed a
right.
lot more flexibility and like being able to make
Yeah.
changes to the product. It's allowed us to be flexible with, you know, big box retail stores and those relationships. And they're like, we want to get inventory now. And I'm like, well, all my stuff's in FBA. You know, that
Yeah.
doesn't work. Or all my stuff is being shipped to FBA. Next thing you know, you have this new relationship and you can't execute on it for 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Yep. No, there's a dozen reasons why you should have one if you're really trying to grow your business. You could fulfill Shopify orders. You could ship to Walmart. I mean, it just opens the door to so many different things. So you should do that anyways. That's just one tip that I'm sure some people still haven't taken action on from when it hit in COVID.
What would be
Um,
another tip? Another tip, and then I'll be respectful of your time.
um, let's see. Yeah, I mean the request a review button. Everyone knows about that by now, but make sure you're using that to get reviews. That's working really well. Storefront source tags. Have you used those,
Which ones?
Carlos? Storefront source tags. They,
Storefront source tags. No.
yeah, they help to track external traffic. So with
Oh,
that bullseye
attribution.
method, it's a little different than attribution. It's basically it creates a custom link, and you can do it for anything. So if you wanted to like you can create any custom link and then tag it with whatever you need. So if you're say having an email go out from your email list, you can create a custom link that says this is for Jeff's email list for the email send on August 31st.
Where are
And
you
then create
accessing this in Amazon?
that's in Amazon. So if you go to let's see, I believe if you go, it's in the Amazon brand registry. Which section is it?
Yeah, because that'd be something I could really use. I do a lot of marketing for Amazon stuff off of Amazon.
Yeah,
And I found I haven't had great experiences with the Amazon attribution program.
yeah. Uh, it's making me do the whole
No, that's fine.
token
Send me
login
a link
thing.
or something afterwards and I'll include it in the show notes.
Yeah, so we'll include that and send that to you. But basically that's a way you can track email sends. If you're having an affiliate, promote your products, you can track the affiliate. You can also use it for ads. So you can use it for both paid ads and just any types of traffic and track the traffic, track the sales. So that's something that really coincides well with what we talked about earlier with testing traffic sources and measuring the results. So that will help you there. But I think if you just search storefront source tags in Amazon Seller Central, like it should just pull up. But I'll send you the info.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. How long has it been around?
I think just maybe I think it came out earlier this year.
Okay. Well, we might
Yeah,
be
I don't
using
remember
it,
the
and I
exact
just
date. Yeah, but yeah, if Amazon attribution is working for you, then keep using that. But this helps track not just ads, but
no, actually,
emails. And
attribution is not working
yeah,
for me.
it's a pain
Like,
in the butt, right?
yeah, it's not working, and it's not the data's just not matching. So,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
sure it'll get
So yeah,
better.
check that. Yeah, so check that out for sure, and see how that compares to the attribution. But I think it'll be a little bit cleaner.
Cool, Jeff. I want to be respectful of your time, but a few things before wrapping up. One is best way for people to get a hold of you, to learn more about you, ask you questions, or turnkey product management.
Yeah, we'll make sure that that page at turnkeyproductmanagement.com/wizards that will have all that you need, like the resources, and then if you want to, contact me or contact us, whatever you need to do, we'll make sure the info's there. Yeah, I've got great guests on my podcast, such as Carlos Alvarez, and I hope to have you on again. The Playbook for Amazon podcast is another place to check out.
It's definitely one of
But
my
yeah.
favorite.
But yeah, I think just our that web page, we'll put all the goodies there for everybody, so that should be good.
Yeah. Last question I ask everybody in the show: what's your favorite book and why?
Um, yeah, one of my favorite books is The One Thing. Have you read that? I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was infuriating. It was an amazing book, but it was infuriating to me because I kind of do the opposite, and it was like a slap in the face wake up call. It's like, hey, you're not being efficient.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean it's basically kind of based on the 80/20 Pareto principle, but just the way that they talk about it and phrase things with the whole, lining up the dominoes and what you can accomplish just by narrowing in on what's the one thing that you should do to, change your business or change your health or whatever. I've read that a couple times, and yeah, it is infuriating because I still don't follow it very very closely, but it's just a good reminder for anyone that's like overwhelmed. It kind of helps simplify or improve your productivity.
Nice. Yeah, I've definitely read it. I've read it several times as well. We've had it in the Entrepreneurs Book Club a few times. So,
Nice.
great
What's
book.
your favorite? What's your favorite book? I'd love to know that.
Oh wow, he reverses it on me.
Well, yeah, I know you read so much, so I'm looking for book recs.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the book that's had the most profound impact on my business. Is there's two of them. One of them I mentioned on your podcast, which was Virtual Freedom,
Hmm.
and the other one would be by Noah Wasserman called The Founder's Dilemma.
Okay, haven't read that.
Yeah, just I pulled over several times, just had chills. I one time teary eyed. I'm like, this person's talking about me.
Wow.
Um, Very impactful. So yeah, no, Noah Wasserman, The Founder's Dilemma, and Virtual Freedom by Chris Ducker. Those
Awesome.
two had the most profound impact on my businesses and really shaped me as a person.
Nice. I'll definitely check it out. Thanks.
Yeah. Jeff, thank you so much for your time. I definitely look forward to having you on as a guest again in the future. I wrote down several topics. One of them, just the way we were riffing on video. I feel like we could have a great episode just on video and a bunch of other topics. But I really thank you so much for being a guest on the show.
Of course, man. It was an honor to be here, and yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
Definitely. I'll see everybody next week. Liked what you heard and want to stay connected? Join our Facebook group or find me anywhere on social media at Wizards of Amazon or text the word Amazon to 69922.